Whenever I have to access technology throughout the day, chances are high that an Apple product is involved. I use my iPhone Pro for capturing content, my MacBook Pro for editing videos, my Apple Watch tracks my fitness stats, my iPad is what I use for note-taking and for creating fun animations on my videos. Needless to say, I'm pretty well versed in the Apple ecosystem, but there is one product that I have not yet had the chance to try myself, and that's kind of a shock because it is Apple's best-selling laptop, the MacBook Air. But that changes today. Ooh. Apple was kind enough to send one my way so I could give it a try for myself. So I thought I'd take you along with me as I unbox it, give my first impressions, set up my laptop, share some features I'm really excited to use that are powered by the M4 chip within the MacBook Air, and also address whether this laptop has a place or why it may not have a place in my current lineup. Who is this laptop best suited for? Can creators now get involved in the Apple Air lineup, or is MacBook Pro still where it's at? This is the 13-inch M4 MacBook Air. It has 16 gigabytes of memory and 1 terabyte of storage, and I also got the sky blue color. When I originally got my iMac, a big source of excitement for me was the fact that it was so colorful and fun and really reminiscent of the old school Macs that I grew up knowing about. I didn't have one myself. It's just something so iconic about those old school colors, and this felt like my version of that. So I do think it's fun that the MacBook Air has a color component. It has more of like a spicy gray vibe. It's definitely not as punchy as the color on my iMac, but it's still there. In the box is also a braided charging cable, the MagSafe charging cable, also in the blue color up until the point of the part that hits the charging block. What really blows my mind though is this plug, because it is so much tinier than the one that I have currently for my MacBook Pro. It's quite a sizable weight difference too. This is a 35 watt and this is a 96 watt one, so obviously a difference in the types of power these are administering to their respective devices, but I do think like this really aids in the MacBook Air just being a really efficient on-the-go system, because this doesn't add much weight at all, and there are 2 little notches here for you to not just have your charging cable for your laptop come out of it, but you could also have a charging cable for your phone. That is not possible on my Pro, and I won't do like too many comparisons to the Pro in this video because they are very like separate devices, but I think it's important to note for someone like me who has really only existed in this world, what are those things that I'm noticing that do make these devices different, and like this is a huge thing, portability. This is my MacBook Pro right here, and this is the MacBook Air, and if you stack them on top of each other, I think it's pretty noticeable the difference. Like the Air is just that much thinner and that much lighter too. This Pro has fans built in, there's more going on in it, so it as a on-the-go device, when I have to put it into my backpack, it's something that I notice a difference in weight. By no means am I complaining about that, but I can't help but notice that this is going to be something that on the go is going to be a lot more pleasant to bring along with you. There's 2 USB slots. There's 1 charging cable for the MagSafe charger, and there's a headphone jack on the right. Again, coming from a Pro laptop where you get this plus HDMI cable, plus an extra USB-C, plus the SD card reader, which is huge for someone who uses cameras a lot and needs that ease of having the memory card slot. That's a big difference. Of course, you can add like one of those nice docks to one of these USB-Cs that has an SD card reader and things like that built into it as well. One of the first things I love to do when I'm using a new device is to customize the wallpaper, and Canva is one of my favorite places to do that with because there's so many beautiful aesthetic templates ready to go. I just adapted this January calendar one to fit a June 2025 setting, and I love the way this looks. It just instantly makes my laptop feel more like my own. Another fun customization element I love to do is to change the icons for any folders that I create. So you press get info on a folder, and then you copy an image of a PNG file that you want to be your new icon. Press paste when you press that little tiny folder at the top, and there you go. Super simple, but adds a cute touch. So this M4 MacBook Air is running the macOS Sequoia operating system, which allows you to do things like ask Siri questions at the top by pressing that little Siri button. It also allows you to use Apple Intelligence tools like the writing tools. So in Notes, if you write something out and you want some extra proofreading, you can see me do that right here. And in seconds, it's editing my work and just making everything look a little bit cleaner. I think that's really handy. You can also use Image Playground to generate images within seconds. And these images can be whatever you want them to be. I think this would be a really handy tool to use even as a student to customize the look of your notes even further by adding doodles that align with the course material for that week or the class itself. You can experiment with different styles and integrate different themes, take them out, add them in, and just see what the image playground generates. I'm curious to see though how the longevity of this tool really works in my life, how I integrate it, if I do at all, because I'm not a student, so I don't have notes to add these images to, but where can I find application for this? One thing I can find application for is iPhone mirroring. This is one of my favorite new features of the macOS Sequoia system. Even though my phone is flipped over, I can fully view and interact with everything on my phone. So I think that interaction element is super handy because it means that I can theoretically do some of the work that I do through iPhone mirroring on my laptop without ever picking up my phone. And that is just mind-boggling to me. I'll have to be mindful though of not putting that on all the time because Lord knows I'll just be scrolling on TikTok on my laptop way too often. And if you're like me and you FaceTime more than you phone call, then these customizations that you can make to the MacBook Air camera are really handy. Center stage, portrait mode, adding a fun background. These are all handy. You can even change the mic settings. Okay, so this is me testing the built-in mic in the M4 MacBook Air in standard mode. Now this is me testing out the mic in voice isolation mode. Is there a difference? I don't know. Something you know, I don't know. One negative I think I'd note about this laptop is the speakers aren't the best I've ever heard. Chance to use the MacBook Air myself, I definitely can see why this is Apple's best-selling laptop because it feels like a laptop that addresses pretty much everything that a typical laptop user would need. The MacBook Pro for sure is still a computer for pros, people who are creatives who are running high intense programs that require that extra GPU support that the MacBook Pros tend to have. From a creator perspective, like that SD card slot holder makes a big difference. Extra ports give you a lot more flexibility. The average person doesn't need those things and is probably going to be using tools like Pages, Numbers, Microsoft Word, Excel, like those types of programs. Then you also get the added bonus of the M4 chip being so powerful that you do have the ability to do some things with Apple Intelligence and take advantage of those things like writing tools and image playground. I think someone who is looking to buy an Air is really going to be confused as to whether they should buy a MacBook Air or an iPad. This is an iPad Pro, but if we're looking at the iPad Air versus the MacBook Air, the price points start to become a little similar when you're looking at the baseline model of the MacBook Air. And I know students in particular really struggle with this decision, so this is my take on it. If you don't have a reliable laptop or a desktop computer right now for writing intensely, like writing essays, doing deep research, heavy note taking, all of that stuff, I still feel like a computer is ideal for those tasks versus a tablet. Obviously you can get keyboard cases for your iPad, but I think, again, like if you don't have any sort of other laptop or computer to work off of, I don't think this is the easiest ecosystem to do that, or it will be like a learning curve to adapt to that. But the iPad really shines with the stylus. I started using this in my final year of university and I loved using it for digital note taking because I could write with my handwriting, which is really good for retention of thoughts and facts. But I also had the added bonus of still being able to search my notes. Like programs like GoodNotes allow you to search your digital handwriting. So it's really the best of both worlds. You get that benefit of paper and pen, but also the functionality of digital notes, and they marry together in a beautiful way with this device. I also use this all the time for following recipes in my kitchen or when I'm doing workouts from home. It's an incredible internet browsing tool as well. It's just something I would prefer to use on a more casual scale. Really, I feel like these two together are the perfect pairing. So it comes down to what are your needs for your computing system. So the price for the configuration that I'm using today, mine's a 10-core GPU. It's 16 gigabytes of unified memory, but there's more storage in the one that I'm using. So to hit a terabyte of SSD storage, you're paying an extra $300, which makes the price in total $1,999. A terabyte of internal storage is nice for all your files, but I think for for the average person, 500 gigabytes is more than enough if you're not like planning to store tons of photos and videos on your computer. Even if it's not enough, I still think like that money is better served in investing in an external SSD. So this one right here is a T7 Shield, and I think this one's a 2 terabyte. I definitely bought it for less than 300 Canadian. I also definitely bought it on sale. So just that right there, it's like you can either put that $300 into an extra 500 gigs of SSD, or you can buy 2 terabytes worth. Of course, yes, it's located externally, so you have to use one of those ports to hook it up. But I actually think that having external storage is really great for backups. Like, I'm a big backup believer, whether you're a student or a writer or just an average person that has, like, you know, regular tax files or bills, whatever it is that you store on your computer. I think having backups is a big deal. And if you're relying exclusively on your device's storage, this doesn't just apply for the MacBook Air, this applies for any device really, then you are putting your storage in the hands of that device still functioning properly. So that's why it's always good to have a second backup of every single file somewhere else, whether it's in a hard drive or a SSD drive like this, or a cloud service that you pay a subscription for and store things there. But I feel like 500 gigs keeps you from hoarding too much on your computer that you should really otherwise be offloading. If anything, I'd be looking for upgrades in the memory, because the memory is what determines how smoothly your computer runs when you've got lots of windows open and lots of different tasks that you're trying to do. So Apple really breaks it down well at the bottom here as to which amount is right for which type of computer user you are. It looks like most people will be fine with the 16 gigs, but if you are someone who does a little bit more intensive work and you just kind of want to future-proof your laptop for that, then looking at the 24 or possible 32 is an option. Honestly, I feel like the base model is the recommendation that I would have for most people, because even if you want some more SSD storage in the future, it's pretty affordable to make that addition with an external SSD, and that makes the price just a no-brainer. I had so much fun exploring the MacBook Air with you today. If you liked today's video, give it a big thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments below if you're interested in hearing me talk about any other tech topics. It's a category that I really love exploring here on the channel. I'll see you guys soon with a new video, and until then, bye everyone.
Baby, don't think I will save you, but I'll tell you the things we can do if you give in. There is nothing to be broken in this moment.